All right, so where did we start? Where did this all come from? Well, it started on the south side of Chicago on July 21st, 1983. I was born to Deborah, Marie Stone, and Michael Stone. And some of my earliest first memories, actually, I think I do. I talk to my brother a lot. My earliest memory is looking around on the ground and seeing a lot of trash bags and what I believe to be a crack pipe. And we were actually leaving our house or apartment, and we were going to my grandmother's house that was just a few blocks away. And I just know that that's where I lived for quite a while. And fast forward through a few good memories with some of my cousins and brothers. All I know is that we lived in this house that was a 3 bedroom, two, yeah, you can't even call it. It was a 1.5 bathroom house on the south side in the Inglewood area. And I just remember it was a lot of us. It was me, my sister, and a lot of my cousins, and it was a lot of us. And a lot of us slept in the living room on let out couches and stuff like that. And all the grown ups they slept upstairs in the bed. And I just remember a few funny instances with my cousins, having fun with them, always playing outside, Christmas time and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, my life changed when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I heard somebody bang on the door in the middle of the night, like banging, just really crazy, like really loud, really crazy, waking everybody up. And so my grandmother goes to the door and she opens it up, and this guy tries to run inside our house, and he just says, "Larry just got shot." Larry was my 16-year-old cousin. I think he was 16, yeah. No, I don't think Larry was 16. I think Larry was 15. And he said, "Larry just got shot." And the next thing you know, in my mind, I'm going to my first funeral ever. And again, I had to be 4 or 5 years old. And so I go to Larry's funeral, and that was the first time that I experienced what death was. I said, okay, well, this sucks. So, fast forward some time, I go to my grandmother's funeral. Fast forward some time, I get a little bit older, and we move. Actually, let's go back in time, because it's just funny. I talk to my brother a lot, and he helps me to fill in these gaps of the things that I can't remember. And I remember me and my mom and my sister, we moved down the street to 63rd in Michigan. It was a tall apartment building, really tall. And I remember walking there one day, and as I was walking, as we got closer to the house, I saw my dad waving out the window. When I got in the house, or I got in the apartment, I was looking all over for him, and I couldn't find him. And he was hiding in the closet, and then he jumped out at me and picked me up, and we had a little fun, and that's all I remember about that. But then I remember not seeing him again. And so I asked my mom one day, I said, "Hey, where's dad at?" And she said, and again, this had to be like 6 years old, you know. And I was like, "Where's dad at?" And she's like, "Well, he just up and left. He gone, you know." It's like, okay, you're a little 6-year-old kid, you don't know any better, so he just gone. And so we go through life, and then you don't know what you don't know until you start getting some exposure. So I'm in grade school, grammar school, whatever you want to call it, and I guess I'm at the point where people start to recognize things, and I'm recognizing that the clothes that I have aren't as nice as the other people's clothes, and I get teased and bullied. Hey, why are you? We're wearing this. Where's your this? Or we're wearing these shoes. Where's your these shoes? Or how come your coat isn't as good and it's thin and this and that? And how come you've been wearing those same shoes like almost all year? And you start noticing things. You just don't know what you don't know. So I got teased and I got bullied, and the only person I really had was my older brother, who man had so much potential. My brother was 6'6" and 6 feet 6 tall, 6 feet 6 inches tall, and in high school he was actually recruited by Coach Cox from Martin Luther King High School, which in the 90s was like one of the top rated high schools, like definitely in the state. They're known for putting people in the NBA. I think Jawan Howard went there. A lot of other. So my brother got recruited there, but well, Coach Cox didn't know that my brother was in a gang, and my brother was in a gang that didn't work well with the other gang. That was the primary gang at that school. So I still remember watching my brother on TV play basketball as a freshman or a sophomore, and I used to get so happy and say, man, look at him. He's on TV playing basketball. He's killing it. He's going to go to the NBA. And the next thing you know, my brother comes home one day and he says, I'm not going back. And I think he had to be 15 years old. 6'6", 6 feet 6 inches tall, 6'6", sophomore, 15 years old. He says, I'm not going back. And my grandma said, what do you mean you're not going back? Well, apparently, some people found out about my brother's gang affiliation, and they tried to get him, and he didn't let it happen. And so he actually picked up a chair and threw it at one of the guys and ran out of the school, never to come back again. So he decided to dedicate his life to selling drugs and smoking weed and hanging out with the gang members. So, that's, growing up, it was just me, really my sister, and my mom. And my mom had this boyfriend by the name of Mark who, just used to hit on her and beat her all the time. And, they did a lot of drugs together. And, I really couldn't do anything about it because, I'm a kid. I don't have any role models. I don't have anybody showing me what to do. I don't have anybody teaching me how to fight. It's just me. It's just me. I can still see the black eyes. I can still see it. So that became the norm. I parties for us meant loud music, Isley Brothers, stuff like that. A lot of my aunties, a lot of my uncles. Basically that meant when everybody got together to smoke crack. That's what that meant. For us as a kid looking at it, everybody's having fun listening to music, but what's that weird smell, man? What's that weird smell? And that was the first time I had, we had this kitchen that was a two-way kitchen. You can go in it through one way and come out another way. And I remember going around the other way because my mom was like talking to somebody in the kitchen. And I guess she didn't see me. So I kind of like went around the other way, and she had her hand on the wall. That was the first time, the second time I remember. See, that first time was my first memory ever. And that second time I remember seeing that crack pipe in her hand. And I stood there and I looked at it. I didn't know what it was, but I knew what it was, I knew what it was. So, fast forward some time and, I started realizing things. My brain started forming. I started growing. I started learning some things, and I just decided I didn't want to live in this area no more. I'm tired of getting bullied at school. I'm tired of this abusive relationship that she's in that I can't do anything about. I'm just tired of it all. So I said, when I graduate 8th grade, can I go to the hundreds and live with Barbara, who's my grandma? Barbara's the best person ever. Hands down. Best grandma ever. You'll never be able to argue that with me. I said, can I go live with Barbara? She said, yeah. So I go to the hundreds and I live with Barbara. And life all of a sudden started to get better, we're not cooped up in a 3-bedroom house with so many people, with no running hot water and stuff like that. You know what I mean? When the heat doesn't work in the wintertime, we gotta heat the house with kerosene heaters. Had to go to school smelling like gas. We had to boil our water in the microwave to get hot to be able to wash up and stuff like that. So I'm tired of, can I go out there? She's like, yeah. So life got better, man. Life got a little bit better. I'm in high school now. I lied on my job application and said I was 16, even though I was 15, because, we didn't have no money. We were on welfare. We were poor, I got tired of, the clothes and stuff. So I got me a job at J&J Fish. I lied on my application and said I was 16. I worked there 2 weeks, and guess what? They found out. I guess they did some type of check on you. and it didn't check out. I wasn't 16 yet, so they fired me. Man, for those 2 weeks, it felt good though to get like $86 over that 1 week. I guess I don't know. Minimum wage was like $5.15 back then. So anyway, I just couldn't wait to get, my freshman year of high school, I did everything. I tried everything because I was never exposed to anything. My mom like never took us to the dentist and anything like that. Never exposed us to anything. So my freshman year of high school, I did everything. Like seriously, I was on the bowling team. I was MVP, by the way. I was on the baseball team. I was on the wrestling team. I lasted like 3 matches. As soon as that dude tried to break my ankle, I said, I'm quit. I never came back. Let's see. I did bowling. I did baseball. I was on the chess team. I did wrestling. I did everything. My sophomore year, I did basketball. This is when I fell in love with it. And I went all through high school. And, all during this time, man, it just seemed like everybody was dropping like flies. My brother that was in the gang, I got to meet all of his friends and everything, and it just seemed like they all started dropping like flies. Ronnie, dead. Danny, dead. I mean, I can go on the list. Dead. Duke's brother, Terrence, dead. I mean, all these people are dying as teenagers, and they're being shot and killed. So that's what I grew up. That's what I grew up around. So many funerals I went to, with all these guys just dead, and that's all I knew. That's all I knew. That's all I was surrounded by. I saw drug transactions. I saw crackheads. Most of them was in my family. My brother was selling drugs to my mom sometime. I mean, that was weird. But that's what I grew up around. So finally, all this chaos, all this animosity, all this craziness. When I finally turned 17 and I'm a senior in high school, my uncle says, hey, your cousin Chris is back from the army. You should go talk to him and say hey and welcome him back. He went to war and everything. So I'll go over there and talk to Chris. Little did I know he was setting me up. And I didn't know this at the time, but he was setting me up. So I go to talk to my cousin Chris. And, hey, welcome back, Army guy. What's up? And Chris says, what's your plan, man? It's like, well, I want to go to college. That's the typical answer. I want to go to college. He said, how you going to pay for it? I said, I don't know. I think they got student loans out there or something like that. And he says, what if I could show you a way to get your college paid for free and get you out of this right here? Because this clearly ain't working. You good? You selling drugs? You in a gang? You smoking weed? I said, no, man, I'm not doing none of that. Don't you see all this? Like, you think I want to end up like them? No, man, I ain't doing none of this. All right, cool. So I take my ASVAB test and I signed up to the Army. He showed me an attractive pay plan. He showed me this other cool stuff. And the next thing you know, I'm signing up for the Army on Christmas Day 2000. Signing up, literally, sworn in. And as soon as I graduate high school, like literally I graduated high school June 1st, 2001. And on the next week, I was on the next thing smoking to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, getting my butt in the Army. Now, I'm going to zoom through that real quick. So, I'm in basic training, and September 11th happened right as basic training is about to get over. So, you guys know what happened with that. Ended up going to war. Army was some of the best times I had in my life. But you know what was crazy? I got shot at in Iraq. It wasn't cool at all. And I said, they tried to get me to re-enlist the next day. True story. I got the graveyard shift. It's midnight. They trying to attack the base. I'm guarding the main front gate, and we getting shot at. And literally, like 4 hours later, they got some guy out there trying to come saying, hey, re-enlist. We got a bonus. Come on. I'm like, nah, bro. If I want to get shot at, I can go back to Chicago for that. I'm out. Y'all said y'all wanted to pay for my school, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to school. So I get out the Army, and then I go back to Chicago. My mom's like, you can come live back with me. I'm like, no way. So I go to live with a friend, and fast forward a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, the Army said they pay for my school. I'm going to school. So I started to go to DeVry to get a degree in something that I can't even remember. I don't even know why I was there. But then he was like, man, let's go down to Champaign-Urbana. There's these girls, and this, okay, you got my attention. Let's go. So I go there, and I'm like, okay, let's go to school. What do we really, really want to go to school for? And I say, radio, TV, communication. Like that's what I want to do. I remember in high school, I did some fun radio, TV classes, and I was the main character in a lot of our films and movies that we made, and we got first place a lot. And so yeah, that's what I want to go to school for. I want to go for radio, TV. I either want to be like an anchorman or a DJ or something like that, like something to that extent. Radio and TV. I want to do both of those. Let's see where that goes. And so I'm in school and I'm learning about all this stuff. And the next thing you know, I get that. It wasn't a phone call. I get that visit. Boom, boom. No, I got a text. I guess it was text. I get that I'm late text. Y'all know what text I'm talking about. I'm late. I'm not talking about that late text. I'm late text. Y'all know what that means. And so, we go through those things or whatever while I'm in school. And finally, my daughter's here, 9 months later. And my life changed instantly. True story. I was right there at the feet. And my life changed instantly when I saw my daughter come out. As soon as my daughter came out, the first thing that I saw is my mind flashed back to my baby picture. I said, oh my gosh, that's my child. That baby looks just like me. That my baby picture that I've seen year over year, decade after decade, that face looks just like that. And in that very moment, my life changed. I used to have braids in my hair. I wasn't a thug. I wasn't a gangbanger. I looked the part though. I had braids, I had baggy clothes and this and that. Like I probably was a 28 size waist wearing 34s and 36s and 3X shirts. I don't know. You only know what you know. But my life changed in that instance. I actually I went and cut my hair the next day. I cut my braids off. I actually stopped cursing. True story. I went and I started buying polos and jeans that actually fit my size. Like literally, I promise y'all, I remember it like it was yesterday. My life changed like that. Like I stopped cursing. I literally stopped cursing. And my life changed. And the next thing you know, a few weeks later, I'm working at Outback Steakhouse and I'm working at Best Buy at the same time, 2 part-time jobs. I'm getting my military money coming in, so I'm pretty decent. But I'm focused on getting this degree so I can see where this radio TV thing takes me. And I meet this guy that comes through my lane at Best Buy, and we start talking a little bit. And after talking to him for a few minutes, he said, "Kid, you did something that nobody's ever been able to do." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Usually I'm looking to get in and out of this place because you guys' customer service stuck, but you kept my attention for like 10 minutes. Like, have you ever thought about selling cars?" And I said, I can tell you one thing. I just had a daughter born a few weeks ago. Like, is this a career? Is this something that you can like take care of a family with and stuff like that? And I still remember he had his glasses on. He took his glasses up and he said, "Kid, if you're good in this business, you can do anything in your life that you want to." He gave me his business card. He said, "Come see me tomorrow." So I went to go see him the next day, see what he was talking about. And I got interviewed by 4 people. The first guy was really tough. He was really tough. And so I guess if you got past him, then you was okay to talk to everybody else. Because everybody else, they didn't interview me. They was pretty much just telling me about the business. So I got the phone call as soon as I got home. He said, "We want to go ahead and bring you on." So I get in the car business. And let me tell you, I start killing it. I thought I can go to school online and work in the car business at the same time. Didn't work. I used to see that I was missing customers by being on my laptop in the showroom, doing homework and trying to keep up in discussion classes. And I said, let me just put this laptop down and let me just really apply myself and see what happens. I started getting it right away, y'all. Like right away. I started getting it right away. It just all made sense. I was going out there. I was using my personality. I was doing the training that they did to me. And car deals was just coming. I started making the money, y'all. The money started coming like I had never seen before. And boy, when you are a poor kid that grew up on the south side of Chicago and you go to the military, you go to a war and you fight a war for $24,000 a year, and then you get in a business that seems very easy to you and you make $30,000 within your first 5.5 months doing it, you get addicted. I'm starting to be able to buy things that I've never bought before. I'm starting to do things that I've never done before. And for me, it was like I made it. It was like I made it. Holy crap. So then 2008 happens and it starts off really good. And then what happens? Bam, the economy crashes. Let me tell you, I went out and I bought Lexuses and all this other kind of stuff. I'm trying to tell you, I was balling out, y'all. And next thing you know, the economy crashes. But then, and I was about to leave the car business. I actually interviewed at Norfolk and Southern, and they actually hired me and gave me the job. But you know what stopped me from doing it? I was buying my first house, and I remember the lady told me, she said, "We're going to call you the day before you close. We're going to call your job to make sure you still got the job." So I told the guy, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck because I'm buying a house, and they said they're going to call my job, and I'm about to close, and I don't want to. And he's like, "Well, you gotta get this job or not get the job." And so I said, I don't want to risk my first house. So let me moonwalk my way out of this situation. So I ended up getting my first house. And next thing you know, the economy started turning around. And I started getting better and better. And even though there were some people that were failing and not doing good and all that, like I kept tunnel vision. I'm like, I got a house now. I got a family. I got to handle this business. So I just kept focused and I started killing it. January, when people selling, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars, I'm selling 18, 19 cars. I'm just focused and just handling business. And so I'm continuing to grow and progress. And then I remember And it was all because of my goals. I had pictures of my daughter like on my little cubicle thing, like every month and stuff like that. And just, that was my goal. And I had a bad day at work, I just go look at her. When things weren't so good, I just go look at her. And I just remember I started becoming more goal oriented, and I said, I want to accomplish more. Now that I'm able to do more, I want to accomplish more. And I said, you know what? I want to build me a house. I want to build me a house. And this next part is very important, and thank you guys for sticking with me. Usually the anecdote is over right around this time, but thank y'all for sticking with me. But this next part is so important. So out of all this time, I went to the military, I got out of the hood, I came back, I'm going to school, trying to make something of myself. I get in the car business, I'm making really good money, I'm taking care of my family, I'm a good human being. And all this time, there's two important people in my life that I'm proud of. So my brother, he ended up, I skipped the part where I'm a senior in high school, and he got into, a fight with somebody, and he did a lot of damage. Again, my brother was 6 feet 6 tall, about 230 pounds. My brother was a big dude. And he was also in a gang, and he also did a whole bunch of stuff. But in my senior year in high school, he got into a fight with somebody, and he beat him up like really bad, like really, really, really bad. Like the guy had broken bones and stitches and plates and all this stuff. And I went to his court date where they sentenced him, and my brother got sentenced to jail. So my brother was in and out of jail. When you live that life, you're gonna be in and out of jail all the time. So he was always in and out of jail. So I didn't have that father figure. I didn't have that older brother to like really, show me what to do, how to navigate through life. And so he went to jail, and he didn't even get the chance to see me graduate high school because he was in jail. So he was out of jail now, and I'm in the car business doing things. He's all proud of me and everything. So I said, I'm about to build me a house. So I go to Chicago, and I'm telling my family, hey man, I'm building a house. Things are going great. It's fantastic. Life is great. And dead smack in the middle of building my house, I get a phone call, probably this had to be about 1 o'clock in the morning. About 1 o'clock in the morning, it's from my uncle, and he called me twice. I said, well, this ain't good. My grandmother's health started deteriorating. She had diabetes and stuff. So I just knew that he was going to tell me that, my grandmother had passed. And he's like, I got bad news. And I'm just like, yeah, I get it. And he's like, it's Terry. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, Terry just got shot and he died. And my immediate reaction was, I threw my phone and I said, you so stupid. You so stupid. I mean, I tried to talk to my brother so many times, like go to the army, get away from here, try to get a decent job. I know it's hard because you're a felon, but you can do anything. My brother tried to convince him, come on, be a truck driver, man. I'm making really good money out here. My other brother, I'm making really good money out here driving these trucks, man. If you can just like don't smoke weed for a while and just clean up, like come drive these trucks with me, man. It's really good money. You keep going back to selling drugs because you keep talking about you need money, and these jobs don't pay you enough money because you're a felon and you got to get something close to minimum wage. Come drive these trucks. Like we all kept trying to tell him, but he just couldn't stay away from that life. I knew it was coming. It was going to be sooner or later living that life. I was just so used to it, and it just sucked because I was in the middle of accomplishing the biggest goal that I had ever set. And I just wanted him to see, like, yo, your little brother, man, he did it. And he didn't even get a chance to see. And I kept thinking, man, my grandma, she had to bury so many people. And then I'm literally standing inside the house that I'm building. I'm standing inside of it. I'm looking around like, man, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then I get another phone call from my mama. And she's crying like crazy. I said, Mom, what are you doing? What's up? And she says, my mama's gone. They took her away from me. My mama's gone. I mean, literally, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of accomplishing the biggest goal that I set in my life. I went from this kid on the south side of Chicago that grew up around drugs, gangs, death, everything that you can imagine, welfare, poor, police, everything. I was supposed to be a statistic. I was supposed to be dead. I was supposed to be in a gang. I was supposed to be selling drugs because I was supposed to be a product of my environment. They pinged me a statistic right from birth. And I overcame all that, and I did the right thing, and I never sold drugs, and I never got in a gang, and I did it the right way. I worked hard. I bust my butt. I went to war for this country. I did everything. And all I wanted them to do, the two most important people in my life, I just wanted them to see that I was making it. And they didn't even see it. So all I wanted, I just wanted them to see it. And they didn't even get a chance to see it. So how did I get here? Now you know. That's how I got here. I never gave up. When I was surrounded by so much negativity, I became positive. When there was so much hate in the world, I decided to make changes because I know that it's a lot worse than what you can fathom. You know, when people talking about they had a bad day, I had several bad days. Several bad days, several bad weeks, several bad months. So how did I get here? I took my passion, my radio TV, and I looked up one day. You know, I got in the car business. I started doing great things. Made a lot of money selling cars. Got promoted to sales manager. Got promoted to general sales manager. Got promoted to general manager. Moved my family to the state of Indiana. Failed. You know, reevaluated my life. What am I doing, man? Why am I in this business? Because of money. Because I was chasing money. And I said, what makes you happy, Markiss? What makes you happy? What makes Markiss happy? I said, you know, you were going to school for radio, TV to live your best life. That's what you wanted to do. That's what you put your stake in. That's what you put your stock in. You wanted to do radio, TV. How did you end up in the car business? That fancy salesman talked me into it. Dang you, Brandon Dowers. Thank you, Brandon Dowers. I said, I want to get back to my passion. You know, at this time, I was building this house that I'm in right now. And I said, you know, once I move into my house, I'm getting back to my passion. And it just so happens that right around that time that I moved into this house, 30 days later, I went to Hustle and Grind Con. And that's when I heard, where is it? It's right here. Yeah, that's when I kept hearing this message right here. Don't wait, create. Don't wait, create. And, you know, because I kept wanting to wait to get back to doing videos and stuff like that. And I just kept hearing Eric Thomas, Glenn Lundy, Sean Hayes saying, don't wait, create it right now. I said, man, I ain't got no furniture. Don't wait, create it right now. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to get to creating. I'm going to get back to my passion. I'm going to put this camera in front of my face. I'm going to put this microphone right here. And I'm going to talk about what I truly believe in every single day. And I'm going to create it. That's what's going to happen. And then I put this camera in front of my face and I looked at it one day and I said, here goes something. I do what I do from the heart. I don't expect nothing in return. I'm a kid from the south side of Chicago that's here to make the world smile and change people's lives. Thank you for allowing me to do it. Y'all have a great day. Peace.